welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a different video than I've done ever in the past. I am going to be walking you guys through my condo search. So for those of you who don't know, which I guess pretty much no one knows because this is the first time I'm talking about it on YouTube, I have actually been looking into getting a condo in downtown Toronto. So this is something that I've always kind of had in my mind. I know that this was kind of the next step for me and something that I wanted to do. I didn't realize it would be happening this quickly, which I'm so thankful for my parents' help. They are helping me with the down payment. I wouldn't be able to achieve the 20% down on my own right now, so they're helping me out with that. I want you to know they're not buying me a condo, they are helping me and I'm paying them back each month. So that's kind of like the overview of what's happening. Just wanted to disclaim that. I'm so thankful for their help and everything, and no, I could not be doing this without them. And so the plan is for me to rent out the condo that I purchased for the next year to 2 years to help offset some of the costs. So I won't be moving in right away, although I would like to, but I cannot afford that, and I just don't want to like push myself financially in a way that I won't be able to sustain. Holding off a year to 2 years is what makes the most sense and is allowing me to get into the market sooner than I would had I been buying it and then moving in right away. But with that being said, we decided to start looking into condos in the last month. We started looking into them in May, kind of the spring market and everything, when everything is going for sale, and especially with the pandemic, it was almost perfect timing for me. Interest rates are really low because of the pandemic, not as low as they once were, but they are still pretty low. They are on the rise now because everything is opening up, so we thought it would be a good time for me to start looking and just kind of see what's on the market. Now, I have such an interest in real estate. I'm really interested in it, and I've always kind of been looking at condos in and around the price range that I set for myself. Looking through them on MLS, which is like the website that you can search them and everything. So I kind of knew a general idea of what was out there and what has been out there in the past. So even though we just kind of started looking, I've already kind of been looking for like 6 months online. So we saw 5 different condos in different areas of the city. So we saw some in King West, we saw some in Fort York, another one in City Place. I didn't know exactly which area that I wanted to be in. We also wanted to see one in the Liberty Village area. It actually sold right before our showing date, so we didn't get to see that one. But yeah, so the first thing that I had to decide and everything before going through with this is whether I wanted a 1-bedroom or a studio, and that was quickly decided for me based on my budget. So I'm just gonna be frank with you guys. I was looking at condos around the $499 mark, so $499,000. You're basically not going to get anything much cheaper than that in downtown Toronto. The further you branch out from the core of the city, the cheaper the condos will be and the more space that you'll get for them. But I wanted to be downtown in the core of the city. That's also where I'll be working once everything opens up again and I'm not working from home. So it just made sense to me to kind of look in that downtown core, and that was the price that I was looking at. Obviously, I would like if I could find them cheaper, but that was kind of the general price line that I set for myself. And you can't really get a 1-bedroom condo for that price, at least not again in the downtown core. So I was looking at studios, which originally was not something that I had thought I would be looking for myself, but I realized certain studios, the way that they're laid out, can actually be super functional, and you can even put in glass doors if you wanted in some of the studios to kind of represent more of like a bedroom feel. So yeah, I kind of knew my budget now. I knew I was looking for a studio condo, and the last kind of thing that I wanted was some sort of balcony, because there were some that were a little bit cheaper that didn't have any balcony at all, had pretty small windows and everything, but I need to know the temperature. I don't know why that was something that was part of my criteria, but I needed to know what the temperature was. I wanted to be able to stick my head out my balcony and feel the temperature. I didn't care if it was a Juliet balcony, which means it's just like the doors that open, you can't actually step out, or like a full-on huge balcony, or just a tiny little thing. Didn't have a preference there. I just needed to be able to feel the outdoors. So yeah, those are my 3 kind of criteria. And yeah, let's begin with the first one that I saw. So the first 2 condos that I saw were actually in the same building. They were in the King West area, which is an area I didn't really know of that well. My dad was really knowledgeable about it, and there was tons of patios, tons of bars down there, and lots of little mom and pop shops, which is so nice. And then you're not too far a walk from the water down by Queens Quay. So generally a good area, and you're pretty close to walking to Union or taking a streetcar or subway. So the first one that we saw, I walked in and I absolutely fell in love. It was super high up in the building, which gave it an incredible view, and right when you walked in there, you were just like seeing the entire view. So it is a shoebox, but I call it like a wide shoebox, not a long shoebox, because oftentimes studio apartments and even like 1-bedrooms, you'll walk in and it's kind of like a narrow and you have one window at the end, whereas this one you walked in and it was wide and you had windows all the way across. So it made it feel a lot bigger because it let in a lot more light. But yeah, it was beautiful. It had such an incredible view. Now they had it staged really well to kind of show the different sections of the apartment. So they have the Murphy bed, which actually does come with the condo. Then they have the little living room area, so they have the couch, rug, coffee table, and TV. So super nice. The only thing that I think they are missing is an actual eating area. They don't have a high top table, so generally you probably want to put in a high top table right by your kitchen to kind of simulate like a breakfast bar, or even give you more counter space for your kitchen. And you step outside and it is a massive balcony. The balcony ranges from one side of the condo unit to the other side, which is not really heard of that often in condos. Usually it's just like part of it, but especially since this condo was small, having that big balcony made it feel so much bigger. Definitely had a great view, and the balcony was definitely a plus, but again, that was not one of my main criteria. Yeah, that was the first one that we saw, and immediately it caught my eye. The only problem with that one was that the offer date was the Monday, and we were seeing it the Saturday, and at that point I was still not approved for the mortgage yet, so we didn't even know if this one was going to be a possibility. And generally with offer dates, when they're holding back offers, so they don't let you offer until that night, there's going to be more than one offer, and usually it does go above asking. So that's just something to note. If they're having an offer date, it's likely going to go above the asking price, and this one was asking $499. With that one in mind, we went down a couple floors lower to see the second unit, and it literally was the exact same condo, just a lot lower, and the previous owners had actually built in a wall. So generally same square footage, same everything else, same layout, just the owners had built in a wall, which was definitely an asset because that one now was technically considered a one bedroom. So I guess you can have a one bedroom at $499, but again, it wasn't a true one bedroom. It is pretty small, but it had a door, so they classified it as a one bedroom, which is definitely a big selling point and generally gives the condo more value. But yeah, so we walked into that one. The first thing that I noticed, having just been in the one that was a few floors up, was the view was not the same. This view was blocked by a building, but generally still not bad view. You weren't right beside the building. You could still see off to the side if you looked on the balcony and everything, but it did feel a little bit darker, not only just because it didn't have a clear view, but because the ceiling was concrete and wasn't painted white. So that already made itself a little bit darker, but my plan was if I were to get this condo, I would paint the ceiling white and paint the walls white to kind of just have the overall space be lighter. And the kitchen was a nice white as well, so everything would kind of be bright and white. But the advantage of that one is that it had a bedroom already. I wouldn't have to put in doors or anything, and all you would have to do is basically paint it to make it brighter. That one was definitely an option that I was considering. Again, I think it was $499, $900, and the offer date for that one was Thursday, so way later than the one above it, and I would probably have more time to qualify for the mortgage, because at that point, again, on Saturday, was not qualified for the mortgage yet. But yeah, so definitely kept that one in mind. So we moved away from King West, and then we went to one near Richmond Street. We went in there, and again, it's hard to tell through pictures and everything. This one was $499 as well. I think they were all around the exact same price. And we walked in, and it literally was a square. It was tiny, had a great view still. There was a building in front, but had still an open, nice view. But it was tiny. It was literally the kitchen on one side, the bed right in the kitchen, and then a table. Again, they didn't stage it, which had they staged it, it probably would have looked a lot better, but it was small. It was literally a square box. Because it wasn't a lengthwise condo, everything was kind of in that one small section. So it didn't feel like you had separate little rooms. You felt like it was just like one big, basically, hotel room. It did have a nice big bathroom, which is nice. It had a big tub, which is something the other two didn't have. It had a nice sink. The floors were nice and modern. They were like a light brown, which I really liked. The kitchen was super modern, very nice. But I couldn't get over just living in that small square because there was no way that I thought I could divide up the space and divide up the room. We went onto the balcony though. Nice big balcony again, which was really nice, but I couldn't get over just living in a square. Right away, I knew that one wasn't the one for me, and we went on to the next one. The next one we saw was one that was in Fort York in Toronto, and it was right at the highway level, which was something I was okay with, being at the highway level. I just didn't want to be lower than the highway because then you don't get any view and you don't get any sun, whereas being right at the highway, you could still see over the highway and still have some light, and you actually didn't have to worry about a building being built like right in front of you because the highway was there. So we walked into this one, and it felt super dark. I don't know if it was just the paint color. They did paint it all like dark grays and everything. They also had very thick and heavy curtains as well, so I think that also is what made it dark. But we walked in there. It wasn't an awful layout. It was a much better layout than the one that we had previously seen, but again, it still felt dark and cramped. Right when you walked in on the left, there was a nice bathroom. It wasn't too big, but it was still nice. And then you kind of walked in, and it was kind of, like I was explaining earlier, it was like a lengthwise shoebox, not a wide one. So it was only one window at the end, and they had a Murphy bed in there, but your bed would come right out into where your kitchen was. Your kitchen was here, your bed was here, your couch was here, and your window was there. So not a ton of space, but still not one of the worst laid out studios that I've seen. We went out onto the balcony, and it actually didn't have a bad view. You could hear the highway noise, but that wasn't something that I cared about. As long as I couldn't really hear it when I was inside with the door closed, I didn't mind the highway noise. You get used to it. But the one thing about that balcony, it was small, but it was fine. But it was concrete walls right beside you. So now you did have lots of privacy. You didn't have your neighbors kind of right there, but it kind of caved in. So it almost felt like you were like in a cave. So it was already quite dark because of the way that the condo was. And then with the caved in balcony, it felt like you were in a cave, literally. So right then and there, I didn't really like that as much because I kind of wanted to be able to like look out and see what's around me, and I couldn't do that because I was caved in, because the concrete walls actually went like a foot or two longer past the balcony as well, I guess for privacy. But for me, it kind of just felt like claustrophobic. But I didn't mind the view. Being right at the highway was nice. You can kind of see out and there wasn't really anything blocking your view, but it just felt very tight and small and everything. So the last one that we saw was in the City Place area, which is near Fort York, and it actually did have a bedroom. It just had a bedroom with like glass doors and everything, which is completely fine. It was still classified as a one bedroom, which was an advantage because I was only really looking at studios. We walked in and it was this really long hallway, and your kitchen was in that hallway. So it didn't really feel like you had an actual kitchen. It felt like you were literally cooking in your hallway. It just didn't feel the greatest, and a lot of the appliances were in really rough shape. A lot of the countertops and everything were peeling and coming apart, and had this been like $350,000, that would be a completely different story. You could kind of rip apart the kitchen and put in $10,000–$20,000 worth of new appliances, but because it was listed at $499 and that's likely what they were wanting, it didn't seem like that good of a deal. But I kept an open mind because I wanted to see more of it. So we walked in. It had really nice floors, which I liked, and it had a pretty big balcony, and it was a pretty good layout as well. It had different spaces that I could kind of set up as designate as little different rooms. It did have a true bedroom, which is a huge advantage, and it had a pretty good balcony. The balcony size was pretty large. Now the highway was right beside you, but again, the noise didn't really bother me as long as I couldn't hear it when I was inside the condo. It doesn't really matter. Now it did have a building right in front of it, but again, it wasn't too close, and you were right down nearby the water, which was nice, and there was a Loblaws right close by, so grocery shopping would have been super convenient, and it was right near the Canoe Park in Toronto, which is a nice park area. But yeah, I just couldn't get over having the kitchen be in the hallway, have it be dark, and also the ceiling height in the kitchen was a lot lower than like the ceiling height in the main condo, which didn't really make sense to me. So it just kind of felt dark and cramped. And now again, had this been $350 or $370 or even $400, that would have been a different story. But the fact that they were wanting it to go to $499 wasn't something that I was willing to put in an offer on and then still have to do $10,000 to $20,000 worth of work. So after that one, I kind of came down to my top two ones, which was the first one that we saw that had the gorgeous view, and the second one that we saw that was just as great. It just had a little bit of a lower view, but still a really great layout. So I decided to hopefully be able to put in an offer on the one with the super high view, and if not, I would think about putting in an offer on the second one. So Monday morning came around, which was the offer date. The offer was being held at 6 p.m. and I still hadn't heard back about the mortgage. We were waiting and waiting, and it takes a while for the mortgage to kind of go through, and at this point I didn't expect to be able to put in an offer at all. Molly has now come to join me, but what I was saying is that basically I wanted to be able to put in an offer at least. I was okay with my offer not being chosen, but not being even able to put in an offer at all, I feel like I would have constantly been kicking myself. So I was hoping throughout the day, stressing, and eventually a couple hours before the offer time, I got approved for the mortgage. So we quickly sent an email to my real estate agent asking her to put the paperwork together and everything, and she went ahead and put the paperwork in, and we submitted our offer. They needed all offers by 7 p.m. so I think we registered ours at like 6:50. You kind of want to wait till near the end so you can see how many offers you're going to be competing with. At that point, I was competing with one other offer, so I knew at least there was going to be some sort of potential bidding war if they came back and our offers were so close. In the end, I think another offer registered, so there were 3 offers on the place. I was so nervous and didn't know what to do, so I actually filmed a little clip here, which I'll insert now. I just wanted to hop on here really quickly and say that I have put in an offer on one of the places, the first place that we saw. Really nervous. There's at least one offer that's already been registered, and I'm sure more are going to come in the last couple minutes, so I'm really excited. I hope I get it, but also at the same time I'm not going to be discouraged if I don't get it, because I would like to see more places as well. This one had an amazing view. It was small, but it could be worked around, and it has a huge balcony. But yeah, I'm not keeping my hopes up or anything, but I just thought I would document this in case I do get it, but also in case I don't, to look back on. But yeah, so it's 7 o'clock now. Hopefully we'll hear back in the next couple hours, if not the latest by midnight. So we'll see. I could be a homeowner, I guess a condo owner, in the next couple of hours. So we'll see. So shortly after I filmed that clip, we were waiting and not sure if I was going to hear back later that evening or if I was going to have to wait till midnight, but I knew at some point I was going to know whether my offer was accepted or not. And now oftentimes when more than one offer is submitted, they will send them back if they're pretty close, or they'll go into a bidding war or some sort of that. So usually in that case, the offer that you submit with isn't the one that you end up doing. But I got a call around 7:30, I think. I can't remember the exact time, 7:30, 7:45. So shortly after we had submitted the offers, and my real estate agent called and said that I got the condo. So I was super excited. I was in shock when she called. I was not expecting it, again, because there were 2 other offers, and it turned out that they chose mine, which I was super grateful for and so excited about, and I just couldn't believe it. So I took another vlog clip. So it is now currently 7:47 and I just got a call that I got it. It's so crazy. It's the first one we saw, the one we fell in love with, and it just bought a great deal on it, I think, and it's just, wow, it's gonna be perfect. And I mean, I'm not living in it for like a year or 2 years because I'm gonna be renting it out to like pay back some of that, but it's surreal. My heart won't stop racing. So I just want to come on here and say that, and I will see you guys in a little bit. So yeah, after that I was still in shock and just had to get everything together. The paperwork was coming over. I had to sign some more paperwork and everything to get everything official, just the initial part of it. Later came a lot more paperwork, but at that moment I was just so excited, so in bliss, and just so ready for this next stage. And I vlogged again. I don't know why I'm documenting this, but I am signing more documents, basically kind of like proving that it's mine now. So I'm so shocked. Again, I'm not living in it for like a year or 2 years, but that's the next place that I'll be living when I leave my parents' house. So that's super exciting. I can't wait to be able to live in it. And again, I'm not living in it for a couple years, but it's just the next step of my life, the next chapter of my life. And I'm just so thankful for everything, for my parents, my friends, my family, and just being able to help me with this. And like, I am getting help by them, but I'm paying them back every month. Like, they're not giving me a condo. Like, that's not what this is. I'm going to be in debt for a while, but it's going towards paying off a mortgage and gaining equity on a place. So yeah, I don't even know what to think, but right now I need to sign a couple of documents, just kind of acknowledging that I guess it's mine. I don't know. Yeah, the plan is for me to rent out the place for at least the next year, if not 2 years, and then move into it. I obviously cannot afford that on my own right now, even with my parents' help with the down payment, but I wanted to get into the market now because the mortgage rates were low and the rates were still low for condos, because a lot of people had kind of left the city, and now that people are beginning to come back into the city, the prices are going to rise because the pandemic is hopefully ending. Yeah, it just happened so quickly. I was not expecting to only see 5 condos, but I also had kind of been searching online for a long time, and I just knew that this was the right one. I've been so excited about it, and actually just this past week we put it up for rent, and I have a renter beginning in July, so everything is being set up nicely. I'll have someone in there renting it for at least the next year, if not 2 years. Yeah, just super excited about it, so thankful and everything. And again, I'm not trying to brag or anything. I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about this next stage of my life, and I'll be so excited once I can finally move down there. So eventually in the next year to 2 years, you'll see some sort of moving vlogs of me moving into my condo. But as of right now, I'm going to kind of spend some time down there when I can, because it isn't rented for the next 2 weeks. So technically I have possession, so I might as well kind of stay down there and see what life would be like. Just super grateful for everything, and grateful for you guys as well for sticking with me throughout my university journey and now my post-undergrad journey, and just kind of figuring out what my life is like now in my new job and my new life and everything. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for watching and thinking through this long video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for a lot more videos coming. I have a lot planned, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video and everything, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.